Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of BC Buckets. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin, today is the culmination of
The culmination.
months of
Yes.
of work, blood, sweat, and tears. It's time for our big board, Colin. It's time for us to go through our big board, 1 through 40, and basically make our case. Who we're higher on, who we're lower on, what we've seen. If y'all have watched our videos over the past few weeks, you'll kind of get a sense for where we are. I think we did 27 different players over the past month,
Hmm.
looking at the strengths, weaknesses, some of them coming in versus series, so on and so forth. So check out those videos on the channel. We appreciate it. We will have a mock draft video up. I believe that goes up on Tuesday, so check that out as well. But today, Colin, is the mock draft.
Big
I'm
board.
sorry, it's the big board. And yeah, we can just get right into it. Do we want to go one at a time? We should have worked this out beforehand.
Last year we just kind of looked at each of them and then picked out differences and debated them. But we
Okay.
can do whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, here we go. Let's pull it up on the screen. Get the right formatting on here. All right. This is my big board. We'll go through. I think we just go through. We can go through 1 through 20
Sure.
each, and then
Yeah.
go 21 through 40 after that. All right. My big board, Victor Wembanyama at number one, Scoot Henderson, Amin Thompson, and Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore and Jarris Walker as the top five. As you can see, do not have Brandon Miller in my top five.
Mm.
We will discuss. Number six, Brandon Miller. Seven, Asar Thompson. Eight, Cason Wallace. Nine, Keontae George. 10, Derek Lively. A little bit higher on Keontae George and Cason Wallace than the consensus right now. I feel like they've really dropped. 11, Anthony Black. 12, Bilo Coulibaly. 13, Jalen Hood-Schifino. 14, Taylor Hendricks. And 15, G.G. Jackson. Obviously, um, Taylor Hendricks at 14 is a little lower than most people have him going. G.G. Jackson much higher at this point since he's fallen off the map. 16, Maxwell Lewis. 17, Jordan Hawkins. 18, Dariq Whitehead. 19, Kobe Buffkin. And 20, C.D. Sissoko.
Hmm.
That is my top 20. Colin, all right. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I just realized that for some reason my board doesn't have Asar Thompson on it, so I'm, I'm adding him in. I was wondering why it looked shorter. I was
Well,
like,
you still had 40 on yours from what I saw.
I
So
did, but I had scouted because I at the end I had
okay.
scouted a
While
couple
Colin
extra.
does that, actually, I'll just go through the whole 40
Okay.
while Colin does that. 21, Grady Dick. 22, Jed Howard. 23, Olivier Maxence Prosper. 24, Kobe Brown. 25, Rand Rupert. 26, Trace Jackson Davis. 27, Leonard Miller. 28, Nick Smith. 29, Andre Jackson Jr. 30, Colby Jones. 31, Bryce Sensabaugh. 32, Jaime Jaquez. 33, Marcus Sasser. 34, Ben Shepard. 35, James Nagy. 36, Noah Clowney. 37, Chris Murray. 38, Julian Strother. 39, Amari Bailey. And 40, Jordan Walsh. I did go through 45 since Colin is still getting his board set. So 41, Seth Lundy. 42, Ricky Council. 43, Julian Phillips. 44, Brandon Podzemski. And 45, Jalen Wilson. So there is my 45 player big board right there.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Colin, you are ready?
Yeah, I just have to refresh the page on your side, but I'm currently throwing a SAR in there. All right,
All
we're
right.
good.
All right, go ahead, refresh the page.
Cool. Let me make sure he's there. He's okay. Cool. All right. All right. So I'll just go through all of them like you did. Number one, Victor Wembanyama. Number two, Scoot Henderson. Number three, Cam Whitmore. Number four, Amin Thompson. Number five, Jarris Walker. Number six, Asar Thompson. Number seven, Brandon Miller. Obviously, I think our top five is the same, just different orders.
Yes.
Number eight, Taylor Hendricks. Number nine, Cason Wallace. Number 10, Kobe Buffkin. Number 11, Jalen Hood-Schifino. Number 12, Anthony Black. Number 13, Grady Dick. Number 14, Jordan Hawkins. Number 15, G.G. Jackson. Number 16, Maxwell Lewis. Number 17, Leonard Miller. Number 18, Dariq Whitehead. Number 19, Keontae George. Number 20, Bilal Coulibaly.
All right, let's stop there and then we can go. We
Okay.
can go for your last 20 here.
Okay.
So let me look at mine. Obviously Brandon Miller is the first one
Yeah.
people will ask us about, people will look at. Um I mean, he's in contention for number 2 still, Colin, even though I think things are trending towards Scoot Henderson at number 2. Still a top 3 pick undoubtedly in this draft. The more I watch him, the more I hear about him, the more I hear people take him, the less it makes sense as a top 3 pick to me. I sent you some numbers about the finishing stats being under 40%, having the worst finishing of basically any wing in this draft. And then you put that together with the fact that I am concerned, like how elite is the 3-point shooting? I
Right.
don't, it's
Because he's
it's
not the
not
best
there
shooter
for
in the
me.
draft.
No, like it's not even close to the best shooter in the draft,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I don't know if he's a top. Ooh, hold on, let me look. That's a good question now. Hawkins better shooter, Dick, Howard, Strother, Whitehead, Lundy. That's a baseline. That's 6.
What's
So
Ben
I'm just
Shepherd's?
saying
I mean,
Shepard might be on there,
yeah.
like
It just
Sensible, Sasser. Like I don't. He's probably in that range, but for me, it's just people continue to look at him and talk about what he can't do. The handle, the shooting. Like I don't think he can shoot as well as Jabari Smith could out of college. Like defensively, I don't think he's as good a defender as Jabari Smith was out of college. There's a lot of concerns here, and we just saw Jabari Smith have some struggles, right? Like I do think Brandon Miller has a little bit more shake to him off the dribble
Mhm.
stuff to him than what Jabari Smith did, but still, that it seems like it is a ways away from becoming an all around offensive player. Like I think the ceiling is there, but we have to also recognize the floor here.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is that when you look at further up both of our draft boards, I guess, is like what do all these top 5 guys have in common? It's that they're elite athletes and they have tremendous upside.
Yep.
And I don't think we're knocking the fact that Brandon Miller could be, the next X, Chris Middleton. People are
Jason
comparing to
Tatum.
Paul
People
George, Jason
people say
Tatum,
Jason Tatum.
whatever. I think you can't ignore the upside of these other guys who have something that's truly elite. Whereas I feel like Brandon Miller, yes, he has very, 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 very good skills like shooting. We've already talked about, and his offensive upside. But I think you can't ignore you can just go like Amon Thompson, for example. It's like otherworldly athletic talent, like just him alone. Scoot
Yeah.
Henderson is Scoot Henderson. We don't need to really go too much into that. So I think it's not so much it's culmination of what Brandon Miller doesn't do well and what everyone else does really well, I think.
Yeah. The I'm looking at your big board. I thought I was looking at my big board. Yeah. So anything else in the top 6? I have Amen Thompson at 3. You have Cam Whitmore at 3. I think that's very close. In
Yeah.
my opinion, I think I have the same grades for them. I just like Amen Thompson's feel for the game and his ability to create for others a little bit more. We both have Jarris Walker at 5. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is kind of high compared to the consensus. I think at this point, Jarris Walker probably goes 6, 7, 8 range. But overall, I'm willing to bet on Jarris Walker's athleticism and what he showed defensively at Houston this year. I feel really good about that. Then we drop down a little bit. You have Taylor Hendricks at 7.
I have him at
I was
8,
at
actually.
7. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I have the old version.
Yeah, refresh.
So let me refresh. But regardless, you have Taylor Hendricks at 8. I am at 14. What makes you stick on Taylor Hendricks?
I mean, he's a great shooter and he can defend. I think that he instantly not only as a 20-year-old, he steps in and instantly helps the team. I think he has a very high ceiling. I don't think he can be like an all NBA type player or anything like that, but I think he could definitely be all-star level type of caliber player.
You think he has a high ceiling or high floor?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, if you take someone at 8, I feel like they have to have both, or you have to think they have both.
Yeah.
And I think his 3-point shooting and defense makes him really good. I think he's fully switchable once he kind of comes into his own. He could probably right now guard 2 through 4, but I think he can guard 1 through 5 eventually. And for his height and size, I think he has really good foot speed. And I think in today's NBA, Taylor Hendricks is like the player you want because he has the 3-point shooting ability along with the defense.
Yeah. Case and Wallace at 8 might be a little high on my board.
I'm at 9, so
you have him at 9. I'm buying completely in on the defense.
Me too.
I think the jump shot's going to be really good. I think I don't see why he's dropping, but I'm also not as high on some others here, like an Anthony Black, like a who's the other one that was dropping down that I have? Kobe Buffkin.
Mhm.
Like I'm not as high on them as I am on Case and Wallace. I just think there's immediate upside with the defense, and I think he'll be able to score the ball at a fairly high rate. And then Keontae George, I have at number 9. I think you had a number 20 or 18.
Yeah, he's
something like
19 for me.
19. Yeah, I just there's somebody here that I need to bet on as being an elite scorer here, and it
Yeah,
wasn't going to be Nick Smith. I'm
it's
taking
fair enough.
Keontae George. I'm taking Keontae George as the upside. I think that's the swing pick. I think that is my pick for a guy who could potentially put it together in 2 years and become a high level scorer. Like that's what I'm swinging. Obviously, the floor is low, but this is the one I'm taking a swing on. Is Keontae George. I've just seen too much good stuff from him. I've seen him thrive at Baylor and score the ball in some really hostile situations in the Big 12. I just trust Keontae George right now. So
I
that's
just don't. I don't know. I mean, yes, he was a really good finisher and has all of the moves and shooting and stuff. I just think his combination of size, decision making, and just athletic concerns.
the bag,
Just don't.
Colin.
Just
He's got a
don't. He's
bag.
got the bag. I
He's got a
understand.
bag. All right. We both Derek Lively fairly high. I have him at 10. You
I
have
don't have
him
him high.
at
I'm at 21.
Oh, you have him at 21.
Yeah.
Wow. You just don't think he can do it
I mean, he could be
defensively
really
or
good defensively, but I don't buy him offensively at all. In any stretch of the imagination.
well, what does he have to do offensively, really?
I think if you're going to take him that high, you have to buy a shot.
Okay, you could buy a shot, but at the very least, if he can be a starting center on a lot of teams. If at the very least he's a great defender, we'll have to see what level defender he is. But I think he can be a very good defender, and he can run to the rim. I think that's a baseline right there of being now top 10, maybe not, but I'm standing by. I think he's lottery at the very least. So
Okay.
we'll see. Anthony Black, we both are fairly low on him. Some people have him going
Compared
number
to
6.
other people, I think,
Some
yeah.
people have him going number 6 in the Magic.
My biggest thing with Anthony Black is that you can't ignore his driving numbers and his free throw rate and his ability as a playmaker, but I feel like his ceiling isn't super high for what you want in a pick. That's like Fanspo, for example, shows the ESPN big board rating. He's at 8. I don't see how you can take him over guys that have higher ceilings than him. I mean, in my eyes, at least, like 3-point shot, I don't really buy his self creation outside of to his left hand. I don't really know if he can get there. Like everyone's comparing him to Josh Giddey. I wouldn't take Josh Giddey 6th, 8th, 10. I don't think I could do that. Like redraft that draft, I can't take him that high.
It's interesting. Anthony Black, people have Harold said he's the best perimeter defender in this class, which I don't know if I agree with. Great passer, which is obvious, but yeah, I thought when I scouted him, I was kind of high on him. And then I saw everybody else take it to another level, and I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes just a bit. Like we did that video. I don't remember what the video was or who it was between, but I think it was Anthony Black versus Kobe Buffkin. And I'm like, I'm taking Anthony Black over Kobe Buffkin 10 times out of 10. And everybody just took it another level forward. So, anyways, yeah, there's Anthony Black. I have Bilal Coulibaly at 12. You have him at 20, I believe. Top of my head, 20. We don't have to spend too long on that. It's kind of just a
do you buy the upside, really?
Yeah. Jalen Hood-Schifino, we're both very high on 13. And what do you have him? 11.
I have him 11.
There you go.
And that's what we just talked about with Anthony Black. Like, why would I not take Jalen Hood-Schifino? Obviously, they're different players where I don't think Jalen Hood-Schifino would be right when he comes in the NBA point guard. He's more like a combo guard. But like, I think he has way more upside than Anthony Black does. So
interesting. 14, I have Taylor Hendricks. We both have GG Jackson, incredibly high, probably to a point where it's probably too high. But hey, we're taking another swing on a player here. GG Jackson, trusting his upside. Maxwell Lewis, I have at 16. You have him at 16. Jordan Hawkins, I have at 17.
I have Jordan Hawkins at 14.
14, so you're completely in on Jordan Hawkins.
Oh, yeah.
I have Dariq Whitehead, 18.
Same.
You have him at 18. Kobe Buffkin, I have at 19. You have him much higher.
I have Kobe Buffkin at 10.
Whew. I will add him lower, and then I just kept watching. I'm like, man, whenever I scouted Jalen Hood-Schifino, Trace Jackson Davis, and all the other Big Ten guys, and I watched them play Michigan and Jet Howard, I was just like, yeah, Kobe Buffkin, he can play.
Yeah. No, I think he could be the guy
Which
that's
is
like
obvious,
has
but
a
yes,
really high floor, and then it's like, he could probably do something really well also
we'll
in the
see.
league.
The mock draft we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I'm
Yeah.
interested there. I do have CD Sissoko at 20. What do you have CD Sissoko? Because
Let me scroll down.
I have him at 20.
37.
Whoo!
Listen,
Oh, Colin.
I think he's great defensively, right? Like
Okay. Yeah.
he could guard 2 through 5. I don't think he can get on the ones. He's a good on ball defender. Walls up well, but I think let's just go with this. His shot to me is awful. Like I don't think it's fixable. Like the amount of air balls he shot last year, just like it's just like watching. It's just like air ball, air ball, air ball, air ball. Like if he doesn't shoot, he can't stay in the NBA because there's so many other players that can do what he does and shoot somewhat. Like 1v1 scoring 16 to 69 off the dribble as a shooter, awful isolation player. I will say he has feel. He can handle the ball, but his
Mhm.
1v1 scoring is not there. And then fouls. 4.2 fouls per 36 minutes.
Yeah,
Listen to
not
this
a lot.
stat. Would be the 7th highest rate in the NBA of non-bigs.
So that's the like we talk about swing factors. Obviously, you can look at the shooting. Like it's an obvious swing factor, right? For most
Yeah,
players, you can look at that.
right.
I think the discipline aspect that you mentioned is kind of his swing factor to a degree. He has all the tools to be special, to be an elite defender, and to I think even be an exceptional offensive player driving the rim. We did do a video on him, but I mean I think like he could very well be like a Richard Jefferson
I don't
type.
think we did a video on him.
We didn't do it. Oh, well,
No.
Leonard Miller. I'm thinking of Leonard Miller,
Yeah.
but still, like that's the type of player I have, like Richard Jefferson, young Andre Iguodala written down. Like I could just see that type of build where it's the defense. He's great in transition. He can get to the rim. He's an exciting athlete.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can put it together. But he has to be disciplined. I think that's my main thing. But I still, yeah. I mean, you're not far off. I think a lot of people have him outside the top 30 right now. But I'm gonna trust him, and I'm gonna go top 20. He's also very young.
Yeah.
19.2 years old. 21, I have Grady Dick. What do you have, Grady?
I have him
You
high. I
have,
think at
yeah, 12,
14 or
15,
15, 12,
13.
13, 13.
All right. Yes.
We would have video over them.
We did.
I just buy his offensive ability more than you do.
A lot of people do. A lot of people do. 22, I have Jet Howard. Very close to Grady for me. Don't
I have him 23rd.
there you go. 23, I have Olivia Maxence Prosper, which I will say right one of these days.
Yeah, I kept
What do
trying
you
to
have?
say.
We didn't do a video on Max Prosper, I don't think.
No, we did not. I have him 28th. I think I probably like him for the same reasons you do. Same. I mean, like he's to me a better City Sissoko if you want to talk about like
Okay.
what he's going to end up doing in the NBA. I think he
On
can guard 1
America.
through 5. He's good on the ball. He can cut. He finishes at the rim at a high rate, 65.2%. He can also be like a rim runner in a way, which is interesting, especially for a guy that's 6'8". I would just think that the issue is his handle, and that's the difference with City Sissoko and him, right? Is like
I think
can
yeah.
he
So
get to the rim?
yeah.
Can Olivier Maxence Prosper get to the rim in more than 2 dribbles or less than 2 dribbles or less than 3 dribbles?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, he's still raw, even though he spent 3 years in college.
Yeah,
Like it's a weird dichotomy there, where it's like he's a good athlete, not a great athlete. He can shoot. You know, if you people have him that have him in the top 25 or so, which I think I have him at 23, which I do. I kind of buy his shot a little bit
yeah,
more than most people do. That's gonna be the interesting thing to me because you're right. He is kind of like CD Soko, but he's also more of a wing and gonna have to guard 4s and 3s. And he only had 5 blocks last year, which is
yeah,
very concerning, very weird. So yeah, there I have Olivia Max Prosper at 23. 24, I have Kobe Brown.
yeah. I thought that was interesting with you because I'm 32. I think he does a lot of real good things.
Colin, you know my rules about old guys.
They have to do
He's
everything really
23 and a
well.
half years old.
Yeah,
I just
talk him up.
I love him. He's amazing. I mean, the thing is, the biggest question is he shot 45.5% from 3 last year after shooting like 20 something in the 20s the last 2-3
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Like, is that jump sustainable? I don't know. And I can't be 100% sure, but the passing is elite. He was 63% at the rim. Like, he played in the SEC for this past year, and I thought he looked physically able to hold up well. The handle's there. He can score in the post. He can screen, pick and pop. If the shooting is there, which I'm inclined to believe it is, I see him as a first-round pick. Now, obviously, he's 23 years old, so if you're drafting him to help you now. And I don't know how many teams. We'll have to see how the trades work out.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm very, very high on Kobe Brown.
I guess not in the way he played, but in the way that I like him. He reminds me of David Roddy. It's
Okay.
like the guy that kind of does
Yeah.
it all, and it's like, yep, I like this guy.
Yeah.
Now I still have him 32 though, so
Yeah. I mean,
you're higher.
That's not terribly low. But 25, I have Ray and Rupair.
I have him 22, so
Okay,
same type
so
of guy.
fairly high on Ray and Rupair. The handle's really interesting with Rupair, which we've talked about when we did his video.
Yeah.
That upside is something that most, including Bio Koulibaly, does not have. Trace Jackson Davis, I have at 26. You have him at 25.
I have him 25. I love Trace Jackson Davis just like you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess people probably not know him because he's ranked 38th on ESPN. So let's just go into a little bit there,
right,
Bruni. Man, I thought you would have him higher than me. I thought you had him 24 earlier, but maybe not.
Did I move him around? I might have moved him around.
You might have. Anyways, he's an open floor athlete, beast, god. Yeah. Listen, beast. 20 points, 10.8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.9 blocks. Yeah, he's 23, but also he does a lot of things really, really well. Can run the break really, really well. I think I have my comp that I have is athletic Draymond Green. Like,
okay, I have Nick Claxton and Tristan Thompson, which I think are very. So I was thinking of 6'9" centers that could defend. Right, Tristan Thompson in his prime was a 6'9" center that could defend, couldn't shoot, but did basically everything else pretty well. Nick Claxton, starting center for the Nets, I think is a very interesting comp here. And Claxton's a little more switchable probably than Jackson Davis is because he's thinner, but I think the Tristan Thompson route is very much there for him.
I think Trace Jackson Davis is more open floor ability with the ball in his hands than.
You're not giving young Tristan Thompson enough credit here.
I don't want to give young Tristan Thompson enough credit. I think he's better.
Okay, well, if he's better than Tristan Thompson, Colin, then we have a long-time NBA starter on our hands here. So there you go. You did it. Congratulations. All right. Leonard Miller, I have at 27. I'm not sure where you have Leonard Miller.
Where do you have Nick Smith?
Oh, next, 28. Nick Smith.
Okay. I was just like, he's 24, and I was really low on him.
Yeah.
24 for me.
I have him 28. So it's the opposite for Keontae George, right? We had to bet on one guy kind of being good. I can't bet on Nick Smith. He didn't show nearly as much in college as Keontae George. Let's start there. Like Keontae George played a full season. Nick Smith did not. So it's like, all right. I saw somebody phrase it to where if you're picking Nick Smith, you're betting on his high school tape.
Yeah.
Right. Like I see it. I mean, I'm not an idiot. I watched Arkansas. I think he played I don't know how many games he played this year, but for half the season, I watched Nick Smith and I was like, damn, this guy is an NBA player. But when you actually look at him, how thin he is, how much he doesn't defend, and how much I don't fully buy the 3-point shot as much as I do Keontae George, I just can't justify taking him top 20.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why he's 24. Same reasons. That's why he's 24 for me. Leonard Miller, though, I have him way higher than you.
What do you have, Leonard?
17.
He's an interesting one. People are high on him, I think, for the most part.
I like Leonard Miller just because he seems to be that he's like a do-it-all forward, I think. We already talked about it. I think he can be a 3-level scorer. I think he can run to the rim. I think he has defensive upside. He's not going to be a 1-5 guy, but I think he'd be a 3-5 guy. It's just, can he become the shooter? Do you buy a shot, basically? Because he was only 30% catch and shoot this year. If he hits the shot down,
I think also his ability to handle the ball in at the G League level was interesting, but I want to see that translate. And his ability to rebound. He had 11 rebounds per game. So that's all those things he's going to have to take up another level. 29, I have Andre Jackson. Do you have Andre Jackson on your board?
Andre Jackson's 34 for me.
Oh, dude, that dude. I loved him. I have him 29. That dude is.
No, I like him a lot.
He can play for my team any day, man. That guy.
I feel like every team has him. Like every
And I
team,
want
every
him.
good team
Yeah.
has like a Andre Jackson type player. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want him. Great,
Okay.
great
Okay.
athlete, smart with the ball. I mean, really, really polished player here. We'll have to see how his shooting and his scoring ends up rounding out, but everything else I'm completely bought. Completely bought. 30, I have Colby Jones. 31, Bryce Sensible. 32, Jaime Jaquez.
Ooh, Bryce Sensible. He's way higher for me, I think.
I love how you scroll up to 1 when you say way higher. Like you scroll super fast to get
Yeah.
up to
You know what?
1,
I
and then
forgot to
you're
put him in here too. Gosh, dang it. Let me look at my actual board over
yeah.
here.
Hold on, let me share
I
my
had him
screen while instead.
20. I had him 25th.
Okay, well we're sharing my screen now, so
Yeah. Sorry.
it's
Apologies.
okay. 25th. Yeah, Bryce Sensible, 31. So this little range right here for me is all pretty tight. Anybody here you want to talk about?
I don't have the StreamYard up to see, but let me see. You
Yeah.
got, let's see.
Jaime
Jaime. I like
Jaquez?
Jaime. I like
Yeah, let's
30.
talk about Jaime Jaquez because we didn't do a video on Jaime.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jaime?
Let me figure out where I have him on my board. I have him 26. You have him
Yeah,
32nd. I
substantial.
think Jaime is
Jaime,
Jaime.
you're married to a Latino woman.
Sorry. Um, I think his offensive versatility is insane. I
Yeah.
mean, good shooter, good passer, spot up shooter, can do some type of. I think he can do some type of pick and roll stuff as a creator, but he can also pop and roll as a pick and roll guy. What you have to buy is his defense, one, and
Yeah.
two. Just like I forgot who I already said earlier.
Sissoko,
No, guy who can't
Miller.
get to the rim in less than 2 dribbles. Uh, you have to make sure that he can get to the rim because he's not going to blow by you. He's methodical. He kind of goes to that spin move a lot, and I feel
Mhm.
like if a lot of NBA guys are going to be able to read that, but if you can get him a little more athletic, I think he's going to be really good because his footwork and ISO offense is just elite.
I have Boris Dio for a comp.
Ooh, I have Mello, and I put LOL after it.
Okay, sure, why not? We did a Colby Jones video, but I did a Bryce Sensible video. Marcus Sasser, I'm pretty high on. I just
I like Marcus Sasser too. Can a small guard like
his
him?
swing is defensively.
Yeah,
He's gonna have, which a lot of people are buying his defense. I'm buying his defense, but he's gonna have to be a very, very, very good defender. If he can defend, he's gonna get on the court because he can shoot the hell out the ball and he can score the hell
yep,
out the ball.
yep.
So I'm buying that. Ben Shepherd, James Najee. I know you're a little lower on Najee. Where do you have
Actually,
Shepherd on your
I
board?
raised up Najee to 30th. Actually,
Glad I could sell you on that.
no, I was looking. I was like, listen, if I'm taking a guy, if you're picking 30, if I'm a team, I need upside here. I don't
Yeah,
think a Ben Shepherd has that much of an upside. I don't think a Brandon, can't say that last name, as much of an upside. Like when
gotcha.
you get to those guys, it's like, do I want like a freak athletically at 30, or do I want a guy that can kind of do some good stuff in college?
What do you think of Ben Shepherd?
I like Ben Shepherd a lot. Problem with him is his size in terms of his like build. Like I don't think
Yeah,
he can make it if he doesn't put on more weight. Because what is he? He's 6'7", 195. Like great shooter. I think he has a really good IQ defensively. I think he has great feel.
yeah,
But at the point of attack, it's like he can't guard ones, and he's not strong enough to guard wings. And he's not a vertical athlete, so inside scoring is kind of an issue. So you have to make sure that he can be a 3-and-D guy, but he needs to put on weight to do that, I think.
I agree. Noah Clowney all the way down here at 36 for me. What do you have Clowney on yours?
I actually have it 29.
Yeah, I just don't buy anything. Flat out. If you're picking them, you're picking them off upside. Now I understand people will come back and actually be like, hey, he can do this and that. I don't
Again,
know.
it's the same type of thing for James Najee for me. It's like if I'm picking late first round,
Yeah.
I want a young guy who has high upside. If I go
All right.
second round, I want a guy that's an older guy that did really well in college.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Let's
my
roll through these
mindset.
last ones here. Chris Murray, I have a 37. Again, I don't buy the 3, and I really don't fully buy the D. So I
Actually, have him
not.
way higher than you.
What do you have, Chris Murray?
I guess not that way higher. 27. I just think he can stay in. I feel like he's gonna be the guy that just kind of stays in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you want that at 27, I don't know, but I feel like he does enough things well enough to where he'll stay on the court somewhere.
Yeah. All right, roll through the last ones here. Strother, Bailey, Walsh, Lundy, Council, Phillips, Pajemski, and Jalen Wilson. There's the rest here. Anybody want to talk about this group?
Not really. I feel like it's like when you get to, when I was like looking at these guys,
It,
the guys I
it
have, they're all like guys that shoot really well or defend really well, but can not do both of them. And then like
it's
except for Amari Bailey, I am interested with Amari Bailey
yes,
actually. I
yes,
feel like Amari Bailey should have stayed
yes.
in college one more year
That's a reasonable take. I think that's a
because
very reasonable take.
I feel like if he's able to show that he can have the ball in his hand and not be just a super aggressive and reckless with it, then I think he's like you put him in the first round, easy.
It's an interesting one. He, like you said, the rest of the guys here are like specialists to a degree. Strother, shooter,
Yeah,
Walsh, defender, Lundy, shooter,
yeah,
Phillips, athlete, Council, athlete, Podemski, shooter, basically.
yeah.
Like he's the one where you're like, okay, I could see potentially the upside. So that'll be interesting. All right, there's our big boards. 1 through 40, a little bit more than 40, but there's all of them. 30 minutes talking about the players we didn't already do videos on. If you want full breakdowns of all the players and our thoughts, then go check out our videos on the channel. We appreciate y'all checking us out. How do I hold on? Yeah, change the layout back. All right, there we are. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us. We'll be back with the mock draft video up on Tuesday, so check that out as well. And yeah, happy NBA draft season to all who celebrated, man. Thursday is almost here. Let's do it.